And we are in. Boys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be talking about the best pre and post-workout nutrition. So first and foremost, I think we need to kind of qualify what the purpose of optimizing pre and post-workout nutrition is, just so that we're all on the same page and in agreement. So pre-workout nutrition, what you're trying to optimize for here is performance and energy during whatever workout you're about to do, whether that's a run, whether that's a lifting session, a row, just even a walk, whatever it might be, okay? And then post-workout, what you want to be optimizing for is two things: recovery and progress, okay? So recovery in the short term and progress in the long term. Progress could be growth, muscle mass, or it could equally be fat loss. So first and foremost, you want to make sure, regardless of what your sort of nutrition is, whether you're talking about pre-workout or post-workout, you want to stay within whatever your calorie target is. So if you're trying to lose body fat, your calorie target is going to be some sort of calorie deficit. If you're trying to build muscle, you're either going to be at maintenance calorie levels or you're going to be in a small calorie surplus. If you are just doing this for overall health and performance, there is a chance that you will actually just be eating at your maintenance calorie. There's actually nothing wrong with eating at maintenance calories. I think a lot of the time people sort of over-fixate on either always being in a deficit or always being in a surplus. I'd be honest, probably 80% of my year, I eat roughly at a maintenance level. I think it's all well and good working towards a goal, but that goal doesn't always have to be fat loss or sort of extreme muscle gain. You can gain plenty of muscle at your sort of maintenance calorie level. Anyway, that's kind of a different topic, okay? So, but first and foremost, it's very important to note that we want to make sure that you are within your calorie target, regardless of what that pre or post-workout nutrition looks like for you. But this, I think, where we're talking about pre and post-workout nutrition, this is where calorie quality and specificity of what you eat really comes into play. So pre-workout, let's talk about that first. So pre-workout, ideally, you'd want to be eating 2 hours before, if you can. But if, for example, you train, as I do quite often, early in the morning, and you don't want to get up 2 hours before your workout, that's absolutely fine. A snack 30 to 60 minutes before your workout is going to be absolutely fine. Carbs are your primary fuel source. So you're going to want plenty of them pre-workout, because like we said right at the beginning, we are optimizing pre-workout nutrition for performance and for energy, and carbs are your body's preferred source of energy. And you want carbs that are high on the glycemic index. And the reason you want that is that means they're going to be fast acting, are going to help you with energy and performance during that session, because they're going to be absorbed into the bloodstream very quickly. A very good example of this, which I still actually think is underrated these days, even though you watching this might already be like, yeah, duh, is smoothies. And that's because smoothies, they contain a lot of fruit variety, which breaks down into fructose and into glucose, two of the simple sugars, and they're very fast absorbing, okay? But you've also got something like oats and granola with Greek yogurt as another great example, okay? So that's your pre-workout ideal. You don't really need to overcomplicate this, okay? And then post-workout, people talk and think a lot about protein in this case. They think that protein is the most important. But the reality is, guys, it's actually really about striking a balance between protein and carbs, because you want the carbs to replenish the glycogen stores that have been diminished through that workout. All the energy you've expended has been using up that stored glycogen, okay? So you want to be replenishing those, otherwise you're going to have a little bit of a crash. But you also want to make sure that you're getting that protein in for the muscle repair, muscle recovery, so that when those fibers are broken down, they can grow back nice and stronger, okay? Now, you also want to make sure that you're having both for another reason, because a lot of people in this instance, they will say it's all about protein. You have to have your protein shake immediately. You need to literally be like drinking it as soon as you finish. Otherwise, you basically have just had a completely pointless session. And thankfully, the science behind this now has developed and has evolved, as science always does. And we've now found that the sort of metabolic window of protein is more like 6 hours. Now, would I be consciously encouraging people to wait 6 hours and test this limit? No, of course I wouldn't. But hopefully that gives you a little bit of peace of mind that you don't need to be rushing to that protein shake as soon as you have finished your workout. And the other reason you want to make sure that you're getting protein and carbs in during your workout, guys, is because if you just got protein in and you were like, yeah, it's all about protein, bro, what's going to happen is a process called gluconeogenesis, which sounds like a big, scary word. But basically, if you reverse it and break it down, it explains what it is. So let's do that. So you've got gluconeogenesis is the word, right? Let's reverse it. So it's genesis, which means creation. Neo, which means new. So the creation of new. And then glucose. So it's the creation of new glucose, okay? Now this is a process that happens in your liver. And what it does is if your body isn't getting enough carbohydrates, it's not getting enough glucose, it will use protein and fats to break them down and create new glucose. It will literally artificially create. Your body is incredibly intelligent. Your brain is incredibly intelligent. And these processes are very adaptive in your body, okay? So this is why we want to make sure that we're actually feeding our body with carbs, because if we're not, what it means is that the protein that we've absorbed for the muscular repair and the recovery and the growth isn't all going to be used for that. Some of it is going to be used in the liver, broken down so that you can create new glucose, and then you can have those carbohydrates. And this is why we want to make sure that we're balancing and having both, guys. The less sexy, but just as important element that not enough people talk about, both intra, so during, and post-workout, guys, is hydration. You want to be well hydrated all the time, whether you're just waking up in the morning or just about to go to bed, right? But particularly around your workouts, right? And during your workouts. People necessarily see food as their fuel, which is absolutely true. But like I say, primary source of energy, carbohydrates. Calories are a unit of energy. That is literally what they are. They are our fuel. But another fuel source that we have is our hydration level. You have to remember that your body at any given point is 60 to 75, maybe even 80% in some people's cases, water, okay? And when you're working out, you're using up a lot of that sort of stored water that you've got, that stored hydration, okay? So you want to be making sure that you are hydrated before, during, and after. And I say this, and again, it might sound really obvious to you guys, but I say this one because so many people I see in the gym are walking around with no water, or they're walking around with like these, I don't even know what they are. They're just like pink or blue or green drinks, and they're like BCAAs and all this pre-workouts and all this stuff. And of course they mix with water, so they are getting some water in, but trust me when I say this, like have a nice strong coffee before you work out. If you're not already feeling energized enough, go into the gym with a big, one of these bottles is 1.5 liter bottle. If you're listening, sorry, it's 1.5 liter bottle of water, and drink the whole thing. Literally put it as one of your sets, drink water. And like, you should be coming out of that gym with an empty bottle of water. You should be going in with it full and you should be leaving with it empty, okay? That will help you to recover in the immediate future from your session. We're not talking about long-term recovery here, we're talking immediate recovery. So many people will go in without any water, or they'll drink a tiny, minuscule amount, or they have one of those, like, those little bottles you get on planes. Like, I don't even know where they buy them in real life, but they buy them and they have one of those. Big bottles of water, guys. You really want to be prioritizing stuff. And if you really want to be going to the next level with this stuff, ideally, you want to have some electrolytes in some water before you work out, okay? Now, again, there's no problem with having them after, absolutely. It's not going to harm you. It's probably going to help you a little bit more, but particularly beforehand, okay? So, lots of information there in a relatively short space of time. What are we on, 9 minutes? But yeah, pre and post-workout nutrition. Like I say, pre-workout, you want to be optimizing for performance, want to be optimizing for energy, you want to be prioritizing your carbohydrates and carbohydrates that are high on the glycemic index. So if you literally just Google carbohydrates high on the glycemic index, you'll get a very good idea, but I gave you a couple of examples during this video. And then after your workout, you want to be optimizing for immediate recovery and then long-term muscular growth and repair. And for doing that, you want to be splitting your post-workout nutrition into carbohydrates and into protein, okay? And there's obviously the reasons for that I've given already. And you want to be making sure that you are hydrated before, during, and after your workouts. So I hope that video was useful, guys. Tomorrow is a very exciting day. Tomorrow is day 100 of me uploading to YouTube, uploading to my podcast in a row. So if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like, please subscribe to the channel, and come back tomorrow because we're going to be having a party, mate. So I'll see you then. Cheers.